To most people, this hardly seems like a challenge. And I mean, to be fair, most people would be correct. To most, these weapons are just regular guns that people use in every playthrough, but not for me. I don't think I've ever made a Fallout build, New Vegas or otherwise, focusing on energy weapons. I've always been drawn to the more modern builds in Fallout, using things like miniguns, missile launchers, anti-material rifles, and so forth. You know, mostly the ballistic and melee weapons rather than the futuristic ones. Despite never using an energy build, however, in this game, I'm well aware of some of the more powerful weapons and builds, so I'll give it my best shot. If you happen to enjoy this video, why not hit that like button and subscribe to the channel? It's free after all. Anyway, let's get on to the video, and always remember...
Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
The run starts as all New Vegas runs do, in Doc Mitchell's house after being shot in the face. And after examining myself and make sure that I have a random face, I make my way over to the Vigor Tester machine, or as a normal person calls it, the Assign Your Stats section of the build. I go with a standard build in my opinion: 5 strength, 8 perception, 7 endurance, 1 charisma, 8 intelligence, 2 agility, and 9 luck. For tag skills, I choose energy weapons, of course, medicine, and repair. For traits, I just chose skilled, because I can't take Wild Wasteland due to a specific weapon I want. The first thing I do after leaving Doc Mitchell's house is to talk to Sunny Smiles, who teaches me how to shoot a bottle, with great success I might add. I then learn how conversion works at a workbench for energy ammo, a neat mechanic if I do say so myself. Then I try and blast Joe Cobb's head off with my laser pistol, unsuccessfully, but he dies regardless. Talking to Ringo about his situation, and he asks me to help. Being the XP whore that I am, I oblige him. I stop by Chet's shop and purchase a Gunrunner's Arsenal laser pistol and a plasma pistol, and because I don't know how common energy ammo is, I make sure to get a recharger rifle as well, which has infinite ammo. I recruit Sunny Smiles for the fight against the Powder Gangers, and I get some supplies from Doc Mitchell that would be useful, and some dynamite, that won't be useful from Easy Pete. After returning to Ringo, the Powder Gangers are here to play, and as always, it's a simple fight. And I get my first level up. All my skill points go into energy weapons, and I take the Swift Learner perk. Instead of running straight to Vegas like I usually would, I decide to head through the game's intended route, following the main story. When I finally make it to Primm, there are some convicts posted out the front of a hotel, so I deal with them with a simple barrage of lasers. I then proceed to clear the hotel and rescue Deputy Beagle. I get tasked with bringing back law and order to the town by the deputy, and then do the quest in the easiest way possible by reprogramming Primm Slim, the Protectron, into the town sheriff for an easy 300 XP. Pushing me to level 3, and once again all my skill points going into energy weapons. I make it to the NCR outpost just up the highway and get some work from the soldiers there. One is to clear some ants from the highway, which definitely weren't there before, I checked, and the other is to check on a town in the distance that has smoke billowing from it. I get this quest from Ranger Ghost. Not that hard. It's just down the road and I clear out the highway easily. They're just ants after all. Making my way down the highway to the town, I kill some more ants for XP of course, using the recharger rifle due to not having any ammo. As I walk into Nipton, it appears to fly the flag of the bull, and I realise why there's smoke on the horizon. Everyone here is dead, and those that aren't probably wish they were. Strung up on crosses, they've been crucified. As I walk to the town hall, the perpetrator of this massacre makes their presence known. The Legion, and the leader of this squad, Volpes. Volpes asks me to spread word of the Legion's atrocities, and I do so. I speak to Ghost about the massacre, and she's kinda scared, and a sergeant, both effectively completing the same quest but getting more XP. I also hand in the quest for the ants to, I think, Ranger Jackson. I then head towards Novak, and not much happens while on the road, so here's some more footage of me killing ants. Because I hate the quests in Novak, I skip it. Anyway, once inside Boulder City, I do the responsible thing and bum rush the Great Khans, killing them all and becoming vilified by them, but accepted by the NCR. Efficient. And for the actual reason I was helping the NCR is to get access to the quartermaster at the Hoover Dam. He has an insane amount of ammo, especially for ballistic weapons, but a decent amount for energy weapons as well. Therefore, this would be the most efficient way to get large bulk quantities of ammo, because the goddamn energy weapon merchants in this game don't stock a large amount of ammo. Why? Anyway, for some more XP and money, I make my way to Vegas, and I stop by Fiend territory to collect the bounties. Driving Nepheli, Violet and Cook, the leaders of the Fiends, all die pretty easily. Before heading into Vegas to do some gambling, I head north. There's a mercenary camp that has my weapon for the run, the best Gauss rifle in the game, the YCS 186. This will be my choice for the run because of its massive damage and comparable likeness to the anti-material rifle, my favourite weapon in the game. Killing the mercs is easy enough, and now I have an OP weapon and a set of reinforced combat armor that I'll sell for money. Now I just need to grab microfusion cells for ammo, and of course the gun runners don't have shit. Anyway, using the workbench at Goodsprings, I can convert energy cells into microfusion cells, which I didn't know before this run because I don't use energy weapons. Then, afterwards, you can overcharge them, making them deal even more damage. Once I've converted everything, I have 110 overcharged microfusion cells. My next stop is the Atomic Wrangler for some blackjack action. I gamble until I get kicked out, of course, it takes about 10 minutes, and I go to the Silver Rush and grab some weapons that I'll probably never use, and start the King's Quest. I also do the quests for the Garrett twins, collecting, bounties, I guess you could call them, and I get some entertainment for guests. Then I blast Oris's head off using the rifle, and nobody cares. And this progresses the quest, the King's Quest that is. The first thing I do with these caps is head to Hoover Dam. I grab all the energy weapon ammo from the quartermaster, change it to microfusion cells, and then overcharge all the cells. I end up with 400 overcharged shots, which when you consider that I'm using a Gauss rifle is really more like 100 shots. Anyway, after some quick time at the blackjack tables, I convince Swank to send Benny up to his room using the evidence I grabbed from Boulder City. This must be, an overwhelming amount of evidence to convince a chairman that, his boss is evil. What's the evidence, you might ask? It's a lighter. Yup. Anyway, I have to say, if I ever own a casino, I don't want the kind of loyalty Swank has to his boss. Anyway, once up there, I blow Benny's head off his body. Again. No, first time. Anyway, reaching level 12, I level up Repair to 98 and take Fast Metabolism, which increases my Stimpack healing by 20%. And then, like clockwork, I go back to gambling for another 15 minutes until I realize my luck stat sucks. Now, a while ago, you might not remember, but I blasted the head off of a random merc. This was the first step in the GI Blues quest. So, I head back to the king and tell him I didn't do the job and just blew his head off. He didn't really care, so he gave me the next part of the quest. The NCR are giving out free rations to the people of Freeside? How despicable. So I head over to their base of operations, and it turns out One of the soldiers, who was sent as an envoy to the king, was beaten to within an inch of his life by Pacer, the king's right hand or something. So I head back to tell the king, and get stopped by Pacer, who bribes me not to tell the king. I then decide to channel my inner Swank and tell the king immediately. The quest finishes with me intervening in a firefight between Pacer and the NCR. Once talking to Elizabeth, the NCR soldier in charge, I go back to the king to complete the quest leveling up, maxing out repair and dumping the rest of the points into science. I then top of Black Mountain to complete the crazy quest, using my maxed out repair skill repairing the robot. Leveling up again and maxing out science, and taking intense training to max out luck. With my now maxed out luck stat, I decide to go gambling. Blackjack is the game of choice because slots take too long and your luck stat literally doesn't affect roulette. Like, at all. The odds are just 1 in 37 for you to win each time. For reasons I'm not sure of at this time, I decided to complete the Brotherhood of Steel's questline. So, the first thing I need to do is collect the holotapes from the Brotherhood of Steel's Knights to gain entry to the bunker in Hidden Valley. The first is atop Black Mountain, and because I cleared the centaurs when I did the crazy quest, it's an easy grab. After collecting said holotape, the Elder of the Brotherhood chapter tells me that there's an NCR Ranger hanging around. Because I invested in speech to convince the quartermaster at Hoover Dam to sell to me, I have the speech to convince this ranger to leave peacefully. Not that it really makes a difference how you deal with him, just that you do. And I return to McNamara, and I immediately start plotting to get this man thrown out of the Brotherhood. I then spent 30 minutes trying to complete the virus quest because, oh my god, this quest sucks. Anyway, we're just going to skip it. I then need to complete the rest of the quest for the Elder. So I head to the Robco building and clear it really easily with my laser rifle. After all, there's only like 6 robots in here. I find the Brotherhood Knights on the top floor and grab the holotape as well as their power armor. I can use it to fix up my own later. Next stop is the Nellis Air Force Base where the boomers are. I run straight towards the Brotherhood that was previously caught in the boomers' artillery barrage, and then make a run towards the gate and meet Pearl, the leader of the boomers. I don't have time for them at the moment, so I travel back towards Hidden Valley where I get McNamara overthrown by Hardin because I want to join the Brotherhood as quickly as possible. Then comes the hard part, destroying the Silver Rush, and these pathetic weapons merchants have it coming. With their complete lack of ammo, I'm going to enjoy this. Now, when I recorded the run, I didn't know that you could just let the suicide bomber into the place when working as a guard and kill everyone bar Simon, the other guard. So I do this the old-fashioned way. After returning to Hidden Valley, I join the Brotherhood and get power armor training. Perfect. Next up on the faction side quest is the Boomers. So the first thing I do is speak to Pete and go make a sandwich while he blabbers on about his people's history. With my maxed out repair skill, I can easily fix their solar panels, and this pushes me to level 16, and I take the Better Criticals perk, which grants 50% more damage when I score a crit. After getting the quest to raise the bomber from the depths of the lake, I head over there immediately. There isn't anything standing in my way besides a couple Cazadors and Lake Lurks, and none of them even get close. They all die to a single blast of my Gorse rifle, So I decided to mix it up using my plasma pistol to get some kills. Using my high science or repair skill, I can't really remember, I fixed the rebreather and I put the floaties on the bobber, nice and simple, and then set the trigger off. That's pretty much the end of the quest, so I head back to Loyal, and then I have to speak to Pearl, get the help from the boomers with the second battle of Hoover Dam. Despite having finished the boomers questline, I still decide to kill the ants at the power generators for just a little bit more experience. I even help Jack with his love life for some reason, and then I sit through Mr. House's demonstration about what the Securitrons can do. At this point, I'm not even sure what I was doing in this run. I just started running around doing random things. Like, there was literally no reason for me to be at Quarry Junction murdering Deathclaws, and yet that's where I went next. And though I have to say, while the anti-material rifle is definitely my favourite weapon, the Gauss rifle is really cool as well. I one-shot almost all the Deathclaws, but I make sure to kill the Deathclaw mother and all her babies, because what else am I going to do? If I'm going to start a job, I might as well do it right. Anyway, with that out of the way, I continue on with the story. And I'm starting with Mr. House, so it's onward to Cottonwood Cove where I meet Caesar, or Kaiser, and he gives me the platinum chip to destroy the bunker with the Securitron army. The bunker is an easy clear, and I'm probably double the intended level and have extremely powerful energy weapons at my disposal, so the security robots never really stood a chance. I activate the army, and a large earthquake goes off, and Caesar congratulates me for destroying the bunker and offers to work with me. I promptly leave him to die from his brain tumor and head to the strip. My first stop is Gamora. Now you might think that I would want to do the quests here for XP, but like a certain Pokeball YouTuber, that is not the case. Now you didn't think you would get away with that, there not being a murder montage to rip and tear, did you? And let's throw in the Brotherhood and the pathetic cannibals infesting the strip while I'm at it. Even though we're on the final stretch of this challenge run, I decide I might as well save the president. By this point, I can overcharge my fusion cells to the max, meaning I can output an absurd amount of damage using this build. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not even at, the most optimal state. And really, it's not even hard to maintain the max overcharge state. You just wait 3 days for vendors to restock, speak to the quartermaster at Hoover Dam, and get hundreds of overcharged shots. It's as easy as waiting... Anyway, to save the president, it's easy as waiting on top of the tower next to the president's speech and then blasting the fake ranger dead. And then telling the head ranger, who then cancels the president's speech in order to save him. Lastly, before the battle at Hoover Dam, I need to power up the El Dorado substation, which is as simple as opening the door, using the terminal, and leaving. Although, the most interesting part of this is that I ran into a Legionary assassin squad, which got annihilated immediately by my overpowered laser weapons. And now it's time for the battle at Hoover Dam the Second, where I effortlessly slaughtered the Legion. Seriously, I don't think a single one of them stood up to a Gauss rifle shot. Anyway, we finally make it to the Legate's camp, and while I would love to say this was a battle for the ages, I took one dose of Psycho and sneak attack criticaled Legate Lanius's head off his shoulders in one attack. Which gives me an idea. But that's a video for another time. As I clean up the Praetorian Guard and walk to the gates to deal with General Oliver and the NCR, I think about how much fun it is to use lasers. I have clearly been overlooking them in Fallout, so maybe I'll give them a try in other games. But for now, I would like to thank you all for watching, and if you made it this far in the video, why not like and subscribe to boost this video in the algorithm. Peace out!